Every year, millions of people make promises to themselves to wake up earlier, to stay focused, to stop wasting time. But once the motivation fades, everything collapses. And deep down, that collapse hurts. Because it's not just about failing a habit, it's about failing yourself. There's a silent fear many people carry into the new year. The fear of staying the same. The fear of waking up months later and realizing nothing has changed. If you felt that frustration, the guilt of knowing you could be more, but still falling back into the same cycles, you are not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. You just haven't learned how to build discipline the Stoic way, the only way that lasts. Before we dive deeper, if you want more content that strengthens your mind and guides your growth, make sure you like the video and subscribe to support the journey. Number 1. Why discipline breaks before it even begins. Most people think discipline fails because they lack willpower, but the Stoics knew the real enemy is something deeper, an undisciplined mind. Your habits are not the problem. Your emotions, impulses, and internal narratives are. When your mind is scattered, everything in your life becomes scattered. When your attention is weak, every distraction becomes stronger. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." If you can't control your mind, you will never control your behavior. Distraction is the true enemy. The endless scrolling, the constant notifications, and the addiction to stimulation quietly drain your focus every day. Most people spend more time fighting their environment than their goals. But a Stoic never fights the world. He shapes his response to it. Instead of trying to feel motivated, a Stoic builds clarity. Clarity becomes direction, and direction becomes discipline. Your mind must become a guarded fortress. Every thought you allow in either strengthens your discipline or weakens it. This is why the Stoics practiced mental minimalism. They cut out unnecessary thoughts the same way you cut out unhealthy foods. Ask yourself, which thoughts help me? Which thoughts slow me down? Discipline begins with filtering your mind, not fighting your habits. Another hidden enemy is emotional reactivity. You set a goal, and the moment it becomes uncomfortable, you stop. Not because you're weak, but because your emotions took the wheel. The Stoics trained themselves to face discomfort without panic. They walked toward challenges rather than away from them. You must build the ability to feel discomfort without running from it. When you understand your enemy, distraction, reactivity, and lack of clarity, discipline becomes far easier. You're no longer fighting blind. Instead of blaming yourself, you start fixing the real cause. Discipline is not about pushing harder. It's about thinking clearer. Once the mind is controlled, the body follows effortlessly. Number 2, build the Stoic morning. Discipline is built in the first hour of your day. The Stoics believe that how you begin determines how you continue. Before the world demands your attention, before your mind becomes polluted with noise, you must anchor yourself. A chaotic morning creates a chaotic life. A grounded morning creates a grounded mind. And a grounded mind makes powerful decisions. Start with silence. No phone, no messages, no chaos. Just you and your thoughts. This silence gives you control over the day rather than letting the day control you. Marcus Aurelius began each morning by reminding himself of who he wanted to be. Seneca wrote letters to strengthen his mindset. You may not be an emperor or a philosopher, but you can still protect the first moments of your day like a warrior protects a shield. Next, set one clear intention. Not 5, not 10, 1. The modern world tricks us into believing productivity means doing many things. But true discipline comes from doing the right things consistently. The Stoics knew that simplicity strengthens action. What is the one thing that, if you complete today, will move your life forward? Focus on that. Third, do something physically grounding. Exercise, stretching, cold exposure. Anything that forces your body to wake up and align with your mind. When your body is activated, your thoughts become sharper. The Stoics valued physical training because a strong body supports a strong will. You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be committed. When you win your morning, discipline becomes natural. You no longer chase motivation. You build momentum. And momentum, once created, becomes unstoppable. The world becomes less overwhelming. Tasks become simpler. Life becomes quieter. And this quiet is where discipline grows like a seed planted in rich soil. Number 3, master the art of small steps. People fail because they try to change too much at once. They push themselves aggressively for a few days, burn out, and return to old patterns. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Change comes from consistent, almost boring progress. One small action performed every day beats the intense effort done once in a while. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time, but that we waste much of it." The small steps you take daily are what build the unbreakable version of you. Choose one habit at a time. This is not weakness, it's intelligence. By focusing on one habit, you train the discipline muscle gradually. Once that muscle grows, it can support more habits. But if you overload it in the beginning, it snaps. You don't need to rebuild your entire life in 1 month. You just need to move forward without stopping. Track your actions, not your feelings. Feelings fluctuate. Action compounds. A Stoic does not ask, "Do I feel like it today?" He asks, "What must be done today?" This mindset removes emotional interference. It makes your discipline independent of your mood. And independence is the foundation of strength. Celebrate consistency, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion that destroys discipline. The Stoics valued effort and intention above flawless execution. If you miss a day, resume immediately. If you make a mistake, correct it without emotional drama. Discipline is not ruined by a mistake. It is ruined by giving up after one. When you learn to master small steps, you unlock the power of compounding. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become transformation. And the transformation becomes irreversible. Others will see a changed person, but you'll know the truth. Your growth came from showing up when it wasn't easy, when it wasn't fun, when no one was watching. That is Stoic discipline. Number 4, build emotional stability. Emotional stability is the silent foundation of discipline. When your emotions are unstable, your habits weaken. When your emotions are grounded, your actions become consistent. The Stoics trained themselves to face challenges with calmness, not chaos. Because a calm mind makes strong decisions. A stormy mind destroys everything it touches. Learn to pause before reacting. That pause is a superpower. It gives you space to think, to choose, to act intentionally. When anger rises, pause. When fear shows up, pause. When laziness whispers excuses, pause. This pause disconnects your behavior from your emotions. It gives you control in moments where most people lose it. Accept discomfort without running from it. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort, going days eating simple food, wearing rough clothes, and embracing simplicity, not to suffer but to build strength. If you can sit with discomfort, you become unstoppable. Because discipline is not about feeling good. It's about doing what is necessary, even when it's hard. Understand that emotions are guests, not rulers. They come and go. The problem is when you treat temporary feelings as permanent truths. A Stoic distances himself from his emotions, observes them, and acts despite them. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You only need to stop making it your master. When you build emotional stability, discipline becomes effortless. You no longer quit when things get tough. You no longer fear pressure. You no longer break under stress. Instead, you move through life with a quiet, unshakable strength. The strength of someone who knows that nothing external can control him. This is the heart of Stoic power. Number 5, become the person you cannot run from. The final step to unbreakable discipline is identity. The Stoics believe that behavior comes from belief. If you believe you are undisciplined, your actions will reflect that belief. If you see yourself as someone capable, consistent, and resilient, your habits naturally align. Discipline becomes easier when it becomes part of who you are, not something you chase. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? Not what goals you want, who you want to become. When your identity is clear, your habits become obvious. A disciplined person doesn't try to be disciplined. He simply acts according to his identity. Every action becomes a vote for the person you want to be. Rewrite your self-talk. Instead of saying, I'm trying, say, I'm becoming. Instead of saying, I'm inconsistent, say, I'm improving. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I'm learning to follow through. The Stoics understood the power of internal dialogue. Change the story inside your mind, and you change the direction of your life. Build rituals that reinforce your identity. A disciplined person has routines that reflect discipline. Structured mornings, intentional work, controlled habits, calm responses. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your rituals. So craft rituals that match the identity you want to embody. When your identity shifts, your entire life shifts with it. Goals no longer feel heavy. Habits no longer feel forced. Discipline becomes natural, automatic, even peaceful. You become someone you can trust, someone you respect, someone you cannot run from. And once discipline becomes part of your identity, nothing, not fear, not distractions, not obstacles, can break you again. Number 6, train your attention. The discipline of a focused mind. Most people underestimate how much discipline is lost through scattered attention. You can have clear goals, strong motivation, and the desire to improve, and still fail, simply because your attention is weak. The Stoics understood that attention is the gateway to action. If your attention is constantly hijacked, your life will be too. Attention is the new currency. Every notification, every app, every dopamine-triggering device is trying to steal it. Discipline begins the moment you reclaim your attention from the world. Start by reducing mental noise. Not eliminating, reducing. You don't need a silent life. You need a structured one. A Stoic creates an environment where focus becomes the default. Instead of forcing yourself to concentrate, design your surroundings to remove temptations. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Even Marcus Aurelius removed distractions from his environment. He didn't rely solely on brute willpower. He relied on strategy. Practice deep work in short, intentional bursts. Discipline grows when you teach your mind to stay with one task at a time. No switching, no jumping, no multitasking. The modern mind is trained to crave stimulation, but the disciplined mind is trained to resist it. Begin with 20 minutes of focused work, no breaks, no checking your phone, and increase slowly. This strengthens your mental endurance like a muscle. Detach from digital validation. Many people destroy their discipline by constantly seeking tiny hits of approval online. Likes, comments, messages, they become invisible addictions. A Stoic never lets external validation govern his behavior. Train yourself to work without expecting quick rewards. The more you detach from instant gratification, the stronger your attention becomes. When you master your attention, everything else becomes easier. Your goals feel closer. Your distractions lose power. Your mind becomes sharper. And discipline, instead of being something you force, becomes the natural expression of your focused life. You become someone who completes what he starts. Not because of motivation, but because your attention is no longer for sale. Number 7, turn discipline into a non-negotiable. One of the biggest reasons discipline fails is because people treat their goals like optional tasks. Optional actions lead to optional results. The Stoics refuse to live like that. They believe the most important parts of life must become non-negotiable. Not if I feel like it. Not when I have time. But this will be done because it must be done. When something becomes non-negotiable, discipline becomes automatic. Look at your daily routine. Everything you treat as optional eventually gets replaced by easier, more comfortable activities. That's why most people lose momentum. The Stoics didn't rely on mood or convenience. They built systems where their values guided their decisions, not their impulses. When you want to level up your life, remove the softness around your priorities. Don't hope for discipline, enforce it. Create 3 non-negotiables for every day. These are your no matter what actions, simple but essential. Not big goals, not complicated plans, just 3 actions that align with the person you want to be. Even on bad days, even when life throws problems at you, these 3 actions must be completed. This builds the identity of someone who always follows through. Cut out hidden loopholes. Your mind will always try to negotiate with you. It will say, you can skip today, or you can do it later. Stoicism trains you to recognize these thoughts as illusions. When you notice yourself negotiating, stop immediately. Take action before your excuses grow stronger. The quicker you act, the weaker your impulses become. Once your priorities are no longer optional, discipline becomes part of your nature. You start trusting yourself. Others start respecting you. Your life becomes simpler because decisions are no longer emotional. They're structural. You don't ask, should I do this? You know you will. And in that certainty lies true power. Number 8, strengthen your will through voluntary hardship. The Stoics trained their willpower the same way athletes train muscles, through controlled hardship. Not suffering, not self-punishment, but deliberate difficulty that strengthens mental resilience. In modern life, we avoid discomfort automatically, but avoiding discomfort makes us fragile. When every inconvenience feels like a crisis, discipline collapses. To build unbreakable discipline, you must reintroduce yourself to challenge. Choose small hardships intentionally. Wake up a little earlier. Take a cold shower. Walk instead of driving. Train without music. These small difficulties aren't about proving toughness. They're about building a mind that doesn't panic when life becomes uncomfortable. When you expose yourself to controlled difficulty, real difficulty stops overwhelming you. Practice doing things you don't want to do. Seneca said that if you only do what is pleasant, you become weak. When you repeatedly face tasks you dislike, like waking early, studying when tired, eating clean, or finishing work instead of procrastinating, you teach your brain that discomfort is not a signal to stop. This rewires your reflex to keep going through resistance. Detach from comfort-based identity. Many people define themselves by their comforts, their favorite food, their favorite leisure activity, their favorite routine. But comfort-dependent identity collapses when life gets tough. The Stoics built identity through endurance, not pleasure. By strengthening your will through voluntary discomfort, you create a version of yourself who can face anything. Once hardship becomes familiar, nothing intimidates you. Your discipline becomes fierce. You stop quitting when things get tough. You stop running from challenges. Your will becomes a weapon, quiet, sharp, and unbreakable. And in a world addicted to comfort, this makes you unstoppable. Number 9, guard your time with discipline. Time is the most valuable resource you have, yet it's the one people waste the most. Seneca wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short. When you waste time, you waste potential. When you guard your time, discipline grows naturally." People who fail to protect their time always struggle with discipline because their life is constantly interrupted, stolen, and scattered. Start by identifying your time leaks, the hidden activities that consume hours without adding value. Unnecessary conversations, mindless scrolling, constant entertainment, unplanned tasks. These small leaks drain your energy and destroy your progress. A Stoic reviews his day with honesty, not judgment, and reduces the leaks until his time becomes intentional again. Use time blocks to build structure. When your day has a clear design, your mind becomes calmer and discipline becomes easier. Without structure, everything feels overwhelming. With structure, everything becomes manageable. Block time for work, exercise, learning, rest, and reflection. This doesn't trap you. it frees you. Because discipline thrives in clarity. Protect your time from other people's demands. Most people allow anyone to interrupt their day. They say yes out of guilt or fear of disappointing others. Stoicism teaches you to prioritize your life first. Politely decline anything that doesn't align with your goals. You can't build discipline if your life is controlled by everyone except you. When you guard your time fiercely, your progress accelerates. You gain hours of clarity that others waste. You stop feeling rushed, stressed, or overwhelmed. You move through life with intention, calmness, and control. And from that control, discipline becomes your natural rhythm, steady, powerful, unshakable. Number 10, live for the long term. The final pillar of unbreakable discipline is long-term thinking. Most people fail because they chase quick results. They want transformation now, success now, confidence now. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Real strength comes from playing the long game. When you stop chasing instant results and start building a lifetime foundation, discipline becomes effortless. Be patient with your progress. A Stoic does not rush growth. He respects the process. He understands that every small action compounds over months and years. When you give yourself time, you remove the pressure that destroys consistency. You stop judging yourself too quickly. You start acting with maturity instead of impatience. Build goals that matter beyond this year. Don't just aim for a better year. Aim for a better life. Create goals that shape your character, not just your achievements. A stronger body, a stronger mind, a focused routine, a wiser approach to problems. When your goals shape who you become, discipline stops being temporary and becomes permanent. Detach from the obsession with fast rewards. Modern life trains you to seek shortcuts, but shortcuts weaken your character. The Stoics believe that every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. When you embrace the long-term path, setbacks stop discouraging you. They become feedback, direction, and fuel. Once you commit to the long game, you become unstoppable. You no longer quit because things are slow. You no longer doubt yourself because progress is invisible. You understand what the Stoics understood. Discipline is not a moment. It is a lifestyle. And the moment you embrace the long-term path, your discipline becomes unbreakable for life. At the end of the day, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's the quiet decision you make every single day to choose growth over comfort, purpose over impulse, and long-term strength over short-term pleasure. The Stoics never waited for motivation, and they never relied on feeling ready. They built themselves through the simple, steady actions that shaped their character over time. If you take these principles seriously, controlling your attention, removing the optional, embracing hardship, guarding your time, and living for the long term, but discipline won't just improve. It will transform. It will become the foundation that carries you through every challenge in 2026 and beyond. Build the kind of discipline that doesn't break because it's rooted in who you choose to become, not how you feel in the moment. And once you make that shift, the rest of your life begins to change with it.